What's going on, everyone? It is 11/17, Monday, June 28th, 2021. Um, Everything at face value is looking a lot better right now. I'm liking the fact that on my 7 days, I'm starting to see some pushbacks. You're still not seeing a whole lot in the 30 days, except for on a few, but that's okay. We're still seeing we got ground to make up, and we're slowly getting there. Excuse me. Bitcoin investors sit on sidelines licking their wounds despite 15% bounce over the weekend. The absence of strong trading volumes points to a lack of institutional and retail interest, according to one expert. I'm not going to read the whole article, but where was the thing that oh, here we go. An unprecedented stream of FUD has resulted in Bitcoin struggling to keep above water. They say the short-term outlook remains choppy and uncertain despite the recent bounce above 34,000. With retail investors on the sidelines licking their wounds, volumes will struggle until the next price catalyst. Indeed, trading volume for Bitcoin has remained low, especially on the weekend. That's been the trend for most of the month. The absence of strong trading volume points to a lack of institutional and retail interest, citing undisclosed trading teams he has had conversations with. We're going to get into the next price catalyst, though. What will that be? Because there's so much Bitcoin news. Let's fly through this. El Salvador to buy an estimated $135 million worth of Bitcoin. It is set to officially adopt Bitcoin as legal tender on September 7th of this year, which I would imagine the purchase would have to be made before then. As it goes on, the U.S. dollar will still be used as legal tender in the country. Bitcoin use will not be mandatory. The use of Bitcoin will be optional. Nobody will receive it if they don't want it, and if somebody does, they can choose to automatically receive it in USD. So it is working alongside US dollars. Same here in Paraguay. It looks like they will not try to make Bitcoin legal tender. Instead, they are saying that they have clarified with Reuters that they only want Paraguay to regulate cryptocurrencies and not make BTC into a national currency. Since we announced that we are working on a bill that legalizes in Paraguay the use of digital assets, better known as digital currencies, or its most popular version, Bitcoin, as legal tender for any type of commercial transaction, various Paraguayan companies have already joined and taken a step forward towards the new era of transactions, which makes us proud. On Friday, he then distanced himself slightly and said it is a bill of digital assets and it differs from that of El Salvador because they are taking it as legal currency, and in Paraguay, it will be impossible to do something like that. And I think that is the narrative we will all start hearing. It's not going to take over. I don't believe that. Abrupt reversal on crypto ban underway in Tanzania as central bank follows president's directive. I covered this a few days ago, but in the financial sector, we have witnessed the emergence of blockchain technology or cryptocurrency. Many countries in the world have not accepted or started using these currencies. However, I would like to advise the central bank to start working on those issues. Be prepared. Before, it was to pretty much banned. Now they are opening the door again because they see what's happening. Speaking of changing tune, Iran's Ministry of Industry issues 30 licenses into crypto mining farms. Remember, just last month they were raiding and confiscating all this equipment. I thought that was pretty interesting. In May, the country's president said crypto mining operations had to cease until September 22nd, resulting from the load they placed on the national power grid because of an exceptionally hot summer. So you had some of that going on too. Moving on to this. For the first time in modern history, the free market will determine the world's next reserve currency. And I do agree with that. However, I do not agree with that. Moving on. Why the spring effect applies to Bitcoin's price movements. It is like a spring, right? We stretch it too much. We put too much leverage. Too many people got greedy. And one tweet from Elon caused all the short sellers to basically pile on and try to depress the price of Bitcoin. It created liquidations. So now all the liquidations are out of the system. The tank is empty. The spring has gotten back to its original position, and we can slowly build up more momentum. I see him, and he's referring to Elon Musk, basically seesawing manipulation. It's like a girlfriend. One day I love you, one day I don't love you. That's not what we're looking for. So it's just a little insight into what some people think is happening right now. Bitcoin is its own worst enemy and will lose to Ethereum. Charles Hoskinson, the co-founder of Ethereum and founder of Cardano. The problem with Bitcoin is that it's so slow. It's like the mainframe programming of the past. The only reason it's still around is because there is so much invested in keeping it around. He talks about it needing to be upgraded. He says Bitcoin is its own worst enemy. It has the network effects. It has the brand name. It has the regulatory approval. But there's no way to change the system, even correcting obvious downsides in that system. He goes to talk about how Ethereum doesn't suffer some of those problems. And he said, if I had to bet just between those two systems, I'd say 9 times out of 10, Ethereum is going to win the fight against Bitcoin. The flippening, it could be underway, people. And we all know what happens once that starts. Bitcoin's short-term setup is challenging, JP Morgan warns. And this is basically just them saying that they are not confident at all in what's going on. They still think that there is an overhang of underwater positions that would need to be cleared throughout the market. I have seen them talking about it going as low as $10,000 to $18,000. I'm not buying that, but that's also not financial advice. That's just what they're saying. To pile on top of that, China's longest-running crypto exchange closes Bitcoin business following crackdowns. The closure represents the final nail in the coffin for the crypto trading side of BTCC's operations. I'm not going to read that. The headline pretty much does what I needed to do. To go along with that, the UK police have seized $160 million in cryptocurrency and money laundering investigation. It's pretty interesting. They where does it say here? The seizure was carried out by detectives on the back of intelligence received about the transfer of criminal assets. And they do say cash does remain king. Advances in technologies have led some criminals to move to more sophisticated methods for laundering, such as cryptocurrencies. But it does say right there, cash still remains king. So don't believe that narrative 100% either. Speaking of narrative, we're going to switch gears here. Hong Kong is pressing ahead with their digital dollar. It should say equivalent there. But in the coming year, we will strengthen our preparation for the wholesale and retail issuance of CBDC currencies, or CBDCs, in Hong Kong, and will continue to work with the People's Bank of China to conduct technical tests on the use of the digital I don't know how you say that. Is it renminbi? I don't know what it's called. Anyway, so they're saying in the next year. Building off of that, digital ruble test in 2022 confirmed by Russia Central governor. Bloomberg Terminal has shared that Elvira, the governor of Central Bank of Russia, has confirmed the institution intends to start testing the digital equivalent of the ruble in 2020. I don't think that's supposed to say 2020. I think it's supposed to say 22. Yeah. Anyway, it's coming. Billionaire vows to spearhead Mexico's first Bitcoin-friendly bank. This guy, Ricardo Salinas Pliego, wants his bank to, I hope I didn't butcher that, I apologize if I did, wants his bank to be the first in Mexico to accept Bitcoin. For the third richest man in Mexico, has doubled down on his support for the coin, revealing plans to open the first Bitcoin accepting bank in the country. And there's a little thing here by him that I watched that was pretty interesting. Does it say when his bank, which has an annual revenue of $2.5 billion in 2020, operates in Mexico, Panama, Guatemala, Honduras, and Peru? Yeah, and they want to add Bitcoin to it. Despite regulatory uncertainty, Indian crypto investments surged almost 20,000% in 1 year. And you guys know that they have banned crypto like 90 times this year already and then flip-flop. So it's just, they find it far easier to invest in crypto than gold because the process is very simple. You go online and you can buy crypto. You don't have to verify it like you do gold. And the transportability issue is non-existent. Here's something interesting I saw in Squawk Box this morning. Let's take a listen to what Jim Cramer says.
I'm curious about how you've been thinking about this market coming off of what seemed like a pretty great week last week, whether you think there's going to be a different version of rotation this week.
Bullish. Have to be. I mean, there's just too much money coming in. The rotations are actually no longer robbing Peter to pay Paul. We had that big rebalancing on Friday. It looks like we got through that okay. We're going to see how much the banks are giving back. It's hard to fight the tide here with no earnings. We just kind of have an open week. And I know you were talking with Herb Greenberg. I mean, look, there's a lot of guys who can run any stock here, Andrew. I don't know if it's good or bad, but boy, they can run it. You know what I mean?
But then how do you pick them?
How do you pick a meme stock? You look for Big Short decision. Those guys are just insane. You got to love the fact that they that if you have a big short position, that allows your stock to go higher. Because what they really do is hate the shorts. In the meantime, there's a lot of stuff that I like. I mean, I'm looking at stocks, really just traditional industrials. I like the financials. But retail is so hot, Andrew. It's just anything retail. I mean, there's a note today about Bed Bath. They're just saying great things. I know that Best Buy is having a great period right now. Target's doing really well. So I just see a lot to like, Andrew. Really a lot to like. And you've just had that great interview with Meg. I mean, now we got a study of 6 people, and people are excited about that. So I got to be bullish, Andrew. I know I just got to be. I mean, it's painful to be.
There's a lot
just
to be
like,
bullish
hey,
about.
I'm bullish.
Where are you on any new views on Bitcoin? It's held. That you remember you had said if it held 30,000, does that mean you go back in at 30?
I went into Ethereum this time. I went back into Ethereum because Bitcoin held 30. I like Ethereum because people actually use it much more to be able to buy things, and I'm going to continue to buy Ethereum. I just think it's just got a little more game because when you go buy an NFT, anything like that, everybody wants it in Ethereum. It's more of a currency.
There's some more narrative for you. And digital asset investor, as always, dropping the truth. Nothing happens in the world of finance without JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. Goldman knows. This is in their June report. Of the 3 roles that Bitcoin was purported to play in the real world, we believe that none have materialized. And that is a powerful statement from Goldman. And then we are going to end this one with something from Mr. Whale. Something big is happening. The same week, top regulators from the UK, Canada, and Japan issue warnings to Binance. We see the largest net inflow of Tether ever, 2.1 billion. What is going on? Something big is happening. Pay attention, folks. It's almost time. Hang on. We're ready.